Hey everybody, so I'm gonna declare the wrasse officially dead. Every other fish I've seen and has eaten today, even the coal tang I saw pop up to eat a pellet. I don't know if he's gonna pop out during the video. He really doesn't like being filmed, so if I go back here sometimes you guys can get a glimpse of him, but I doubt it. So the first thing to note is the Duncan keeps on getting knocked off that rock, so I brought him down to the sand bed. Since the candy cane coral was surviving on the sand bed fine, I thought I might as well try this coral down here. The fish are all doing great. The only thing left for me to try is I have to somehow beat back this algae. There's no real way around saying that. I have to somehow find a way to beat back that algae. Oh, look, if you look carefully, you can see a coal tang there. But this algae keeps on coming back and it's a problem. So whenever one algae gets beaten back, something else comes back. So I think the hair algae is the last problem I have because what was eating it was all the snails and they're all dead now. So instead of just me going to get more snails, which will likely be killed by the hermits, I tried out this yellow tang, which I have to say has picked at it, but definitely not enough to make a difference. Although the algae doesn't appear to be growing at a very fast rate, it's definitely going to eventually be a problem if it ever decides to shade out this candy cane coral here. Even though it doesn't appear to be, whenever it does, I just go in there and yank it up. But it looks like maybe I could try to add in a lawnmower blondie to see if that can make a difference, because with the wrasse now being dead, I have a spot free to use a fish. So I could try a lawnmower blondie, see what happens there. I could also try adding a lot of anemones and other corals to try to provide more competition, which definitely does help in most people's tanks. Because simply put, the tanks with a lot of competition have less algae. Because more coral takes up more nitrates and also takes up more space. That's the problem that I have. These corals are not taking up a lot of space. But if you notice the ring of nothing around the torch coral, like all that's around it is a little bit of coralline algae. There's no pest algae until you get all the way down here, which its tentacles can't even reach. So which means maybe if I add more torch corals to this rock, and then maybe I add some anemones to the base structure. But I guess the first thing to do is see how the Duncan does down here. Maybe I guess either this weekend or next weekend I could try going and picking up a lawnmower blondie and an anemone or two. But I don't think just flower anemones. I'm going to keep a bunch of different anemones to see what happens. Maybe drop a couple bubble tips throughout the rock work and see what happens. So, yep. Fighting off algae. It's difficult to do with these types of setups that are not dependent on having a refugium. Because without a refugium, most tanks without a refugium will have algae problems. But if I could somehow get the system to shift its focus towards corals and anemones and have those be the predominant nitrate users instead of the algae, which I can only really do if I add more, then that will really spike the tank towards a controlled system that won't need algae to grow to become stable. So I guess if I were to add a couple corals and anemones, it could probably stabilize itself. But yeah, I think the first step to do is simply get to the store and see what they got, make a decision there. I don't have to get the fish on that day. I could pick up a couple corals or anemones. Most likely anemones. I think that's going to be the route I'm going to have to go. Just because A, I like them, and B, they can really sting back anything. Yet again, though, so can some of these LPS. If you look, this frog spawn's been fighting for a while, but it's holding it off pretty well in that one little area where it is. Same thing with the torch. And if you even look, the candy cane's even holding it off itself. So, yeah. That's it, guys. See you on the next one.